Let's take a look at the trapping defensive scheme the Detroit Pistons utilized on Thursday night against Luka Doncic in the Pistons' big win over the Mavericks in overtime, and where they struggled and where they were successful. First here, so they trap Luka all the way at half court, get the ball out of his hands. That is the goal. You see a little bit of miscommunication here between Burks and Joseph. Burks thinks Joseph is going to take Christian Wood. Joseph thinks Burks is, and so they end up just giving up a layup at the rim. You see them communicating it right there. So huge communication when you trap the ball, especially this far from the basket, and you're essentially playing zone in behind it. We're going to see something similar here. Joseph doesn't go. He's pointing at Jalen Duren. You kind of have to stay on strong side corner and not give up the open three. Jalen Duren comes. The issue is, as Corey Joseph does have to play both, you can't give up this backdoor layup to Maxi Kleber like they do there. You'll see this from Killian Hayes. Later in the breakdown, you saw Corey Joseph raise his hand, calling himself out with the mistake on that one. Here, off a ball screen, they're going to trap, and the Pistons almost come up with the turnover, but when they don't, it now really puts them into rotation. They don't do a bad job initially. Stewart rotates here. Killian hustles to the corner to close out to Spencer Dinwiddie, but what this defense will put you in is really tough closeouts. Even a good defender like Killian's going to get beat off the bounce. Too many guys rotate into the lane to now take away Dinwiddie. Jaden Ivey's in a tough spot, almost having to guard three on the perimeter, and Tim Hardaway Jr. gets a wide open three on the weak side. So not bad, some pretty good effort, but eventually you're going to give something up. Here again, trapping, they get it to Kleber in the middle of the floor, and this is where you're going to see Killian. Isaiah Stewart steps up. Killian's having to play both, but you can't just give up this backside backdoor there like Killian does late in the fourth quarter. That was a big bucket to send this game into overtime. All the way back here at half court, Killian rotates up on Kleber. Jaden Ivey does a good job rotating, and then Bojan rotates out of the trap, and the Pistons initially here are matched up again. Bojan cuts off Tim Hardaway Jr., a nice rotation again on the weak side. Killian here, Isaiah Stewart rotates out and gets a pretty decent contest on Kleber, but when you're in this, another thing you may give up is offensive rebounds, which the Pistons do on this one, and Tim Hardaway Jr. gets to the rim. So notice in all of these, you're getting the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands, but it puts you in tough spots behind that. Here they make the trap closer to the three-point line. The rotation has to come from Jaden Ivey. Bojan does a good job giving off the Kleber screen to close out here. The ball gets back to Doncic, which you don't love, and he gets a three off. He misses, and they come up with the defensive rebound. So a little bit more of a neutral possession there for the Detroit Pistons. Trap here at the three-point line. The issue on this one is both of these guys come as Marvin Bagley III rotates off strong side shooter. Just let Stewart take this rotation. Bojan will rotate to the corner. Burks will rotate back out to the weak side wing, and they end up giving up an open three. You are going to give up those shots at times, but you want a little bit more of a contest, but they didn't give up an offensive rebound. Here, Burks rotates, and you see Bagley a little bit in no man's land. What he should be doing is sprinting to the block here, let Isaiah Stewart rotate to the corner, and then him take Dwight Powell. You see a little confused on where the rotation is, but at the end of the day, it's not Luka Doncic at the rim trying to score. Marvin Bagley III does a good job contesting, and they get a miss. Here they jump him at the three-point line, and you see the rotations. Ivy comes, Bojan comes. One of these two, Hayes or Bagley, should be rotating out. As Bagley does, Stewart rotates to the corner, and you're essentially going to get the ball out of Doncic's hands, somebody else trying to create their own shot. It's not a bad shot for Christian Wood, but it's a tough contested shot that he ends up missing with guys in rebounding position. That is a possession you will take, especially in a game where Luka Doncic has kind of got it going like he did early in this game versus the Pistons. Another one here, Killian immediately there on the catch. You see the Pistons rotating out. So on the skip pass, you see Stewart is able to contest. The issue was you now end up with your two best defensive rebounders all the way out here as Hardaway comes up with the miss. But the beautiful thing is everybody else got involved, and they're able to come up with the defensive board, not giving up an offensive rebound. Now, what this did Along with taking the ball out of Doncic's hands, it forced other guys to be playmakers. So here, the ball goes into Christian Wood. He has to be a playmaker. Goes down to Dwight Powell at the rim. But now you're forcing Dwight Powell to be a playmaker. Pistons with active hands end up forcing the turnover. And they got Doncic to turn it over as times as well. Trapping him all the way out here. Good rotations. He throws a lazy pass. Jalen Duren comes up with the steal. Another one here late in the third quarter, Kevin Knox and Jalen Duren able to just be active, force the turnover, and then they get the transition lob on the other end. And then maybe the biggest play of the night, the Pistons are down 1 with just over 2 minutes left in overtime. You get the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands. You're forcing Maxi Kleber to make the play. Doncic isn't being the creator. Somebody else is being the creator, which is what you want to force, and he turns it over. That led to Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey taking over, making clutch buckets, and the Detroit Pistons win.